Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with another update for my Eyemageddon project pan. This year I am working on single eyeshadows in this project, where I try to use every single one in this project 10 times before I can roll it out. So I guess it's a bit of a kind of mix between panels eyeshadows, project 10 uses, and just rotating through my singles collection. So I'm going to cover the palette that I've been working on and let you know where I am with all my eyeshadows. Before I jump into that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So I keep all of my eyeshadows in this Cleona palette. It's looking very grubby right now, but that's fine. I can just wipe it out. I might do that after the video actually. But this is where I keep all my eyeshadows, and this right here is where or what this palette looks like. So you can see the eyeshadows here that I've been working on. So let me go through each one in order. So first up in the palette, we have this eyeshadow right here, which is from the Pastel Roses. And this one is in the shade Nectarine. It's a beautiful kind of warm orange kind of base that shifts into a beautiful like electric green, and then also like a UV kind of pinkish shade. I'm actually wearing this one on like the inner part of my lids today. I'm wearing a lot of these eyeshadows today, at least a lot of the shimmers. Oh, actually, I'm wearing 4 of the shimmers today. But yeah, this one I am wearing on like the inner part of my eyes today, and I really like this eyeshadow. I am unfortunately not rolling it out yet though. I used it 2 times in the first month it was in, and I used it 6 additional times in the past month for a total of 8. So I have 2 more uses to go, so that one will be staying in for 1 more month. Then next to that we have another Pastel Roses shadow, and that one is this one here, which is the shade Lime Twist. It has like a warm green base that shifts into a gold, and then it has like a turquoise shift like on the offside. So when I'm looking at the palette like from the side like this, when the light coming in from that direction, it has like a it has like a turquoise shift. But it's a beautiful eyeshadow. I'm wearing this on my eyes today, and this one I also used 2 times in the first month, but I am happy to say that I reached for 8 additional times this past month for a total of 10. So this is an eyeshadow that I will be rolling out. I'm really happy about that. It has got a little bit of a dip, as you can see in it. I'm really happy that I'm showing my eyeshadow some love. So yeah, this will be the first one that will be replaced. The next eyeshadow is this one here, which comes from Terra Moons, and this one is a cool classic. You might be able to see from the way it's shifting, but this is the shade The Cosmos. So this one has like cornflower kind of blue base, as you can see there, and then it has a strong pink shift that goes into like a green and turquoise and so many other ones. And again, I'm wearing this one on my eyes today, somewhere there in the middle. But yeah, I love this eyeshadow. It was actually really fun to play around with it, because I know this was a cool classic in the indie community, but I hadn't really played around with it enough to know how I liked using it, and like kind of understand why it was such a cult favorite. But I have used this one, actually I used it 7 times in the past month. So I used it once the first month it was in, 2 times the second month, and I have 7 more uses to go, and I hit that 7 uses this past month. So I've used this one in like neutral looks, and I used this in colorful looks, and it's a very, very versatile shadow. Looking at it in the pan, it looks like it would be a very intense colorful shade, but it can be sheared out and topped on top of other things, which meets it down a lot, but you still get that shift, and the shift really also depends on what you pair it with. So it's a really beautiful eyeshadow, but I'm happy to say that that one will be rolling out. So for the next row, the first shadow we have is also from Terra Moons, and this is Iridescent right there. This one is in the shade Lunar Spectrum, and this one rolled in last month. It's a beautiful kind of pinky peach, I would say, to a gold green shift. It's really stunning. It's not like a regular, it's not super pink. Like I said, it's more kind of peachy leanings, which makes it very versatile, because you can use it with warm tone looks and cool tone looks. And like I said, this one rolled in last month, but I am happy to say that I reached for this one 10 times already. And with iridescent shades, it's quite easy for me to reach for them, because I can use them on my inner corner, I can use them on like my lid, so they are very, very versatile. I do try to reach for my iridescent shades at least 2 times on my lid, so I can see how it works over other eyeshadows. And yeah, I have done that too with this shade. So this one as well will be rolling out, which means we have 3 shades out so far. The next shade in the center of the palette right here, we have another Terra Moons eyeshadow, and this is the least exciting one for this update, I would say, because I actually haven't used it at all. This one has been in for 2 months. The first month I reached for it once, and I haven't reached for it this month. I think it's because, I don't know, I just don't think to reach for this eyeshadow. It's a beautiful, like, neutral, like, mauve toned eyeshadow. You can see there it has, like, a mauve base that goes into, like, a gold, and then also, like, a bluish purple shift at the very end. It's a really beautiful eyeshadow, but I just keep forgetting about it. And I think if I got into the mindset of using it, I could easily have this out. And that will be my goal for next month as well, because I do try to have things out after 3 months in this project at the highest. And again, this has been in for 2 months already with only 1 use. So I would have to reach for it 9 times in the next month. We'll see if that happens, but I'm going to aim for that at least and see how I do. Then again, next to that, we have another shade I rolled in last month, which is this one here. And that's another pastel rose shade. That is the shade Sakura, which has like a pink base, as you can see. And it goes into a blue shift, which is what you will see there. And then also like a UV kind of purple shift, and it's really, really stunning. Again, I'm wearing this one on my eyes today. This is what I'm wearing like on the outer part of like that wing shape. But yeah, anyway, this is a really beautiful eyeshadow, but I only reached for it once, which is in the look today. So not that great, but it's another one that I just completely forgot about. And I've been reaching for like other things, and I've been focused on the ones that I thought I would be able to get out this month. From this palette, as you might be able to tell, I was focusing on like specific shades very highly, and other ones I didn't reach for that much. But 1 used on it so far. I'm definitely going to try to set that one up for next month to try to get some more used on it. I don't know if I can get it out next month, but I will at least want to be halfway to that goal of rolling it out. Then for the 3 mattes down here, they're all from Sydney Grace, and all of them were rolled in last month. So the first one we have is the shade Fairy Tale right here, which is like this kind of peachy pink shade. And this one I have used 6 times. Then we have the shade San Jose, which is like kind of, I don't know, neutral kind of toned brown. It's really, really stunning. I'm actually wearing it in my looks today to like blend out my like crease kind of colors. And this one I have reached for 10 times. I reached for it last time today. So this one can roll out, which is really, really exciting. And then lastly for the mattes, we have this one here, which is the shade Parallax Light. And I have reached for that one twice. So again, it's very excited that one of the mattes can roll out of this project. And I will replace all of the shadows at the end, so you can see what my new color story will be like. But yeah, that is the next shadows. So moving on to the last part of my palette, which are my 3 Cleon eyeshadows right here. On top here, we have Blaze, which was rolled in last month. And since I rolled it in, I have reached for it 4 times, which is really, really good. It's an easy eyeshadow for me to reach for, but I'm also kind of savoring it a little bit because I love this eyeshadow. It's one of my favorites. So I'm kind of trying to not reach for it too much, or like I didn't want to reach for it so I can roll it out this update because I did want to savor it. But this for sure will be out next month because again, I love reaching for this eyeshadow. Then we have the shade Vermilion here in the middle, which is like a pink, as you can see there, but it goes into a really strong golden and green shift, which you probably won't be able to pick up on camera. I don't know if I like move the palette around, like I don't know, maybe I'm not sure if you can pick it up. But that one has been in for 3 months now, and you know my rule is that I try to reach for things so they can roll out after maximum 3 months. And at the last update, I had actually only reached for this one twice, so it wasn't very successful at that point. So I had 8 more uses to go, but I'm happy to say that I did actually reach for it 8 more times. So this one will be rolling out, which is really, really exciting. And that also means that I can get a new Cleon eyeshadow in this palette too. Then the last eyeshadow we have is the shade Cobblestone right here, which also rolled in last month. It's like a plummy kind of mauve that has like a gray base, and then it goes into a gold shift. It's quite stunning. It's more muted than what I've been feeling, but I'm excited to reach for it. I wanted to roll it in to play around with it more. And this shadow I actually only reached for once, so not too successful. But you can see I have a lot of mauve tones in this palette, or like, with the Cleon eyeshadows, they look very, very similar in the viewfinder, as you can see, but I can see the differences, but they are in general quite similar. They're all kind of like different tones of mauves or pinks into like different tones of like yellow, gold to green. So I don't know, they're very similar shades, so maybe it wasn't the best idea to have all of them in at the same time, but at least one of them will be rolling out as this update, so we'll have a little bit more variety in this palette. So those were all of the eyeshadows that I have. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyeshadows rolling out. We have these 2 right here. We have this shadow here, and then the Cleon eyeshadow in the middle, as well as the middle shade here for the mattes. So let me go and take those out of the palettes, and I will introduce the shades rolling in. So this is what the palette looks like. You can see I have like a lot of mauve tones. These would actually make quite a nice palette together. But yeah, these are the shades staying in. So let me introduce what eyeshadows I'm rolling in. The first eyeshadow I'm rolling in is from the Pastel Roses, and this is an orange shade, as you can see right here. It's a beautiful eyeshadow. It's like a orange base with a gold and a pink shift. It's absolutely stunning. So I wanted to roll this one in to have some more warm tone shadows in this palette, because as you can see there was a lot of mauves. So this is the first one I'm introducing, and I haven't said yet, but this is the shade Lure. And there you have that swatch on my hand. I'm not sure if you can pick up like the orange shift. Oh, there you can see the gold, which is really exciting. That's the gold to the pink. So that is the first shade I'm rolling in. For the second eyeshadow we're rolling in, I'm going for another one of my Terra Moons eyeshadow. And this one is the shade M51. It's a beautiful kind of like deep iridescent kind of vibes from Cleona. It's like a grey base with a strong green to purple shift. I don't know if you can see it up here. I'm going to show you the swatches anyway. So this is the second eyeshadow I'm rolling in, and that is the swatch. You can mainly, like, you can see the really, really strong green shift right there. But if I pull it back here again, maybe you can see like that purple shift. I think you can see it right there. It's a really, really beautiful eyeshadow, and I'm excited to reach for this one. It's also going to give a bit more kind of variety, and yeah, I think it's going to be really stunning for autumn looks. So with that next eyeshadow, I am actually switching up a little bit. I have had a rule in this project before that I always want to have an iridescent shade in, but I'm going to break that now, at least for now, because I have reached for all of my kind of circle iridescent, like circle singles like this. And I do want to kind of focus on reaching for things that have been untouched this year in my collection. I want to, like, you know, make sure I go through all of my eyeshadows and get to know them. So the eyeshadow that I'm actually rolling in is from Sydney Grace. I don't think I've had any Sydney Grace eyeshadows, like shimmer eyeshadows rather, in this project, because I've been focusing more on my sparkly eyeshadows. But I do want to get to know this shade, and I haven't reached for it yet this year, so it's perfect. And that is the shade The Milky Way, which I think was in the collaboration with Temptalia. You can see that it has like a mauve base with a kind of green blue shimmer. So let me swatch it so you can see what it looks like. And there you have that shade. I think it's going to be really pretty to work on. And yeah, it's not like a multichrome or anything, but it does have like that little bit of a shift to it. And it's going to work really nicely with the other shades that I have in the palette at the moment. Next up, we're rolling in the matte for the palette. And I decided to go with another Sydney Grey shade. And this is actually a bit of a deeper shade. I've been working on a lot of transition shades in this palette, but I wanted to roll in something different. So what I decided to go with is the shade Unpredictable, which is this one here. I have swatched it out right there. It's not the best swatched. It's very warm, so I'm a bit like clammy. But yeah, that is the swatch right there. I think it's going to go really nicely with the rest of the palette, and I think it can pair really nicely with both the mauve tones as well as, for example, like green. I think those two could make a really, really nice look together. So I'm excited to roll this one in. It's just a matte, so it's not super excited, but this is the one I decided to go with. Then for my chosen Cleona eyeshadows, I actually decided to go with one of my newest Cleona eyeshadows. I picked up the Dimensional Multichrome really recently in the last like sale. Not the one that went on now in September, but the one they had in, was it in August or in July? I can't remember. But that one, I picked up the Dimensional Multichromes, which is the new launch. And I decided to go with one of them. I decided to go with the one from that order that I'm most excited to play around with, and that is the shade Ferric. So this is what Ferric looks like in the pan. It's super, super pretty. It's like green to like gold to like pink, mauve kind of sparkles. It's absolutely stunning, and it is, like the name would suggest, very, very dimensional. It has loads of different multicolored sparkles in it, and I'm very, very excited to play around with this one. A lot of people have been raving about this shade. You can see the swatch right there and how it switches. It's so stunning. You can see it goes into that bright green right there. Such a beautiful eyeshadow. I'm very excited to play around with this one. And again, it's the one that I'm most excited to play around with from that launch. And I haven't reached for it yet, so I'm excited to roll this one in. And it's going to be nice to reach for it 10 times and both get to know the formula as well as the specific eyeshadow. So this is what my palette looks like. I think it's going to work really, really nicely. I really like how it looks. I think the masks on here all works well together, and I think it's going to work really nicely with all of the shades in this palette. It still has a lot of moths, but I think my next update I can roll out some of those. And yeah, I think it looks really, really nice, very, very autumnal, and I'm excited to play around with this one. These are also the 5 shades that I rolled in again, and again, they are all very autumnal, so we're leaning into those kind of months, and I'm really excited to play around with them. So that is it for today, you guys. I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what your favorite single eyeshadow is at the moment, and I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye, guys!